Hey everybody. We had a successful first Rebuild Champions League kind of podcast show, so we're gonna try for number two. Now, I know I'm no Chuck Reed. I know I don't have the lyrical uh, language that Chuck does, how well he puts things, but I thought, he likes to work the word on Wednesdays. I thought since we are a quarter of the season way into this football season, I thought we'd have a little theology Thursday so that we can explore all the teams and maybe give some biblically sound advice to these teams. So let's start right here with number 12, Law and Order. Quentin remains last in the ESPN Power Rankings. Of course, he was 12 the first time around. I'm actually somewhat surprised by this ranking. He's not actually in last place because he's won a game, and he's not last in points scored either. So I feel like he ought to be a little higher. And if you look, after losing by 50, he's actually played three really close games. Lost by 3, won by 2, then lost by 3. However, we all have been in this spot before where we kind of feel like, we're not sure why we're in last place, but there we are in last place. Well, Bible talks about this. Matthew 20:16, the last shall be first and the first last. So keep your head up. Being number 12, not a bad thing in this sense. Now, let's move on to number 11, King Henry's Noblemen. They were previously ranked 11, and this may be the team in the worst shape after the start. They're 0-4. They are 11th out of 12 teams in scoring, and 3 of their 4 losses have been blowouts. So I was looking for some biblical wisdom here. And for seeing the starts of the season, I believe it's important to keep in mind Exodus 18:23. God will direct you, and you'll be able to endure. We've all experienced blowouts. God's on our side. We can endure those blowouts. Moving on to number 10, our biggest faller. Josh was ranked 3 and has fallen to 10. Um, Kind of on the basis of the 0-4 start. He is 10th in scoring is all. Kind of feeling like the Eagles right now. Kind of, we had high hopes and everything's kind of crumbling a little bit. So here's what we got for Josh. It says, I can really only think of one verse in the Bible that applies to Josh's team right now. That's John 11:35. Jesus wept. Looked down on that team of Josh's and couldn't figure it out. All I could do was weep. Hey, Josh, turn it around. We can do this. Now, team number 9 is Team Griffin. We have a previous rank of 9, also did not move in the standings. He's just 1-3, but he is 7th in scoring. So the team is still trying to kind of figure out where they are. What is not helping Team Griffin is he's 2nd in points against, which means people are scoring at him like crazy. So just like our other strugglers, we need some more trials and tribulations wisdom. And we turn to Paul in Romans 5, verse 3 and 4. More than that, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. That's right, Mr. Griffin. This is just a test to help build your character and produce some hope in you. Moving on to number 8, it is myself. Previous ranking of 10, I've moved up 2 spots. Off to a rough start here at 1-3, languishing in 8th in scoring. However, I am leading the league in transactions made at this point. I am attempting to do something about it, which brought to mind Solomon. And I do think, often glossed over Solomon, a wonderful fantasy football player. And this was his viewpoint on constructing fantasy football teams in Proverbs 10:4. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. That's right. I'm not lazy on this team. I'm going to try and work this team into something good. Number 7, we have Biblical Baller Sharp. He's fallen from a previous ranking of 5. Started out 3-1 and 6th in scoring, so maybe that's caused the drop. But he's doing well this year. However, he did reach out to try and make some trades. Was on that chat trying to make some trades, but he's only made 4 player moves. This kind of struck me as odd. He wants to trade, but not making a lot of ad drops. This reminded me of something that we really need to pay attention to. Solomon warned us here in Proverbs 14:23. In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. You want to be careful about asking for these trades and searching out, but not making those transactions on the other end. So hopefully Mr. Sharp can keep it going. Now, number 6 is Wait What? His previous ranking was number 7, and I'm surprised this team has not moved up more. They're 3-1, 2nd in league in scoring, off to a great start this year. So I actually looked for a verse about a team being looked over, and I found it here. Take heart. In Galatians 6:9, we read, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Don't worry. they'll see you. They'll see your score and they'll see you winning games, and you'll be doing better in the next power rankings, I'm sure. On to number 5. Victory is mine. Mr. Nate Royer's previous ranking was number 8. Somehow he's moved up to 5, and I'm not going to lie to you. This one took me by surprise. Nate is dead last in the league in scoring, 12th, and has only won 1 game. I'm not quite sure where the 5th place ranking comes from, but maybe, we know Nate has told us all he's a big-time talent acquisition person. So maybe that's where they're coming from. It actually reminded me of some of our bigger surprises we've seen in the Bible and brought me back to Acts 16. Paul and Silas had been thrown in jail. The guards are there the evening, and they're like, no way these guys are getting out. There's no way. Just like Nate's team. There's no way this team can be good. Look at they don't got anything going on. Clearly, God saw something that the jailers did not. He said, earthquake came, Paul and Silas are free. This is just like Nate's team right now. ESPN is missing something. I mean, ESPN sees something the rest of us are missing. So, Nate, keep after it. Now, number 4, we've got Jasper. Was previously number 2, off to a good start here. There's nothing to complain about. 3-1 records, 3rd in points scored. And so I believe Jesus' own brother can bring to us some wisdom from Jasper's season. And that is every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like the shifting shadows. That's right. Jasper has been given a gift of a team. They're off to a good start. Just raise those hands and say amen and keep rolling, Jasper. Now on to the big hurt. Number 3 was previously ranked number 1. However, John is off to a 4-0 start, but he's only 5th in scoring, which explains why he's dropped a few spots in the ranking. He did lose his top pick, Christian McCaffrey, but he's kept the ship heading in the right direction. And look, what better thing to think about when you are in trouble and you're in despair, and that's to bring to mind some of Paul's famous words. So we actually have a transcript of what Coach Hunt said to the boys after McCaffrey went down, and it was from 2 Corinthians 4, 8, and 9. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. We're persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. It's exactly what he said to the boys. He said, we're going to keep winning games no matter what. Good work, Coach Hunt. Way to keep the boys steady. Now, number 2, our fearless leader. Chuck has moved up from 6 to 2, the biggest mover from the preseason, off to a 3-1 start. He's 4th in the league in scoring. He's also made 10 transactions at this point, which is 2nd in the league. Chuck, also reading from Proverbs, it is clear, and he's going to stick with these words from Proverbs 13:4. Lazy people want much but get little, but those who work hard will prosper. Chuck is putting in the work, putting in the effort, and right now, he's prospering. Finally, number 1, and to me, this was not a hard one. Grant Miller comes in at number 1. He's previously 4, off to a 4-0 start, leading the league in points scored. This is a well-earned spot at the top, and I was having trouble coming up with a verse specifically for Grant, but I was reminded of a story. If you all walk with me back to Genesis 41, story of Joseph. At this point, Joseph is down in a jail. Pharaoh calls him up to interpret a dream, and his interpretation was there's going to be 7 years of abundance, but 7 years of famine are coming. So you want to store up 1/5 of your crops during the 7 years of abundance to take care of those 7 years of famine. So, Grant, I think what we're being told right now is keep winning those games, build those wins up. Those famine times are coming. We've all played enough football to know you can't win every game. Those famine years are coming, but I like what he's doing. Grant Miller's racking up those wins so that he has them in abundance when that famine comes. So that's all the wisdom I've got for you on Theology Thursday. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again. If you're playing me this week, make sure you read from the book of Casey 1:1, where it says bench all your starters when you play Casey. See you guys later.